and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute core of what makes a successful company tick: operations and strategic management. Picture a world where a beautifully lit, modern factory floor seamlessly connects with a sleek office environment, a place where logistics, teamwork, and quality control are just perfectly in sync. That is the gold standard of operations management. And in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how that highly professional, cinematic, corporate atmosphere is built from the ground up, using our core source material as our guide. To really set the stage, let's kick things off with a fantastic metaphor from the sources. If the business organization is a car, operations would be its engine. Think about that for a second. You can have a stunning paint job, that's your marketing. You can have the highest octane fuel on the market, that's your finance department. But without an engine, well, you aren't going anywhere. Operations is the literal heartbeat of a company. It's the whole shebang of taking raw inputs and actually transforming them into the goods and services your customers are waiting for.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the engine of business. Second, designing the factory floor. Third, production planning and control. Fourth, quality and productivity. Fifth, keeping machines running. And finally, number 6, strategy and teamwork.
Section 1. The engine of business. Balancing the twin objectives.
Every single day, operations managers are essentially walking a tightrope between two conflicting goals. On one hand, you've got the customer service objective. This is all about giving the customer exactly what they want, right when they want it, at the perfect price. But on the other hand, you have the resource utilization objective. This demands that your materials, your machines, and your labor are being used efficiently, without any waste. And here's the catch. Improving one often stresses the other. If you offer a million custom product variations to throw your customers, your factory's efficiency is going to take a hit. Conversely, if you just run your machines at 100% capacity to max out efficiency, you might end up with a warehouse full of inventory nobody wants to buy. It's an incredible balancing act.
Section 2. Designing the factory floor. The spatial blueprint.
Imagine walking onto a massive, brilliantly lit modern factory floor. That layout? It's absolutely no accident. A facility's physical design loudly communicates its strategic priorities. You've got the principle of sequence, which means machines are arranged in the exact order of operations, so you aren't wasting time moving things back and forth. Then there's the principle of usage, maximizing every single square foot of space, and the principle of compactness to keep the whole design harmonious and integrated. But honestly, the real secret weapon here is employee morale. Creating a safe, cheerful, well-designed working environment is absolutely crucial. It directly boosts teamwork and productivity within that professional corporate atmosphere.
Section 3. Production planning and control. The rhythmic workflow. So how do managers ensure everything keeps running smoothly once the floor is laid out? It's all about a rhythmic workflow. It starts with routing, literally mapping out the exact path a raw material will take. Next is scheduling, which is setting the strict timetable for those steps. Then comes dispatching, where you actually issue the orders to the floor, basically pulling the trigger on production. And finally, follow-up. This is where you'll see managers looking over computer screens and glowing charts, actively checking their actual progress against the original plan to make sure everything is humming along perfectly.
Now, a real game changer for supercharging this workflow is just-in-time manufacturing, or JIT. Fun fact, this was originally inspired by American supermarkets that only restocked exactly what customers were buying. JIT organizes a facility to produce the precise quality and quantity of a product exactly when it's needed. It literally eliminates those massive, wasteful stockpiles of just-in-case inventory. Components just arrive on the assembly line exactly as they are needed, creating an incredibly lean, agile environment.
Section 4. Quality and productivity. Measuring the output.
These days, just churning out products isn't enough to cut it. Operations are used to actively weaponize efficiency for a competitive advantage. Companies are leaning hard into trends like total quality management, which is a relentless company-wide obsession with continuous improvement. They're also focusing on agile manufacturing to quickly adapt to market shocks, competing on sheer speed with time-based competition, and sometimes they'll even use business process reengineering to completely tear down and rebuild their workflows from scratch.
But how do we actually measure if any of this is working? Well, productivity is pretty simple. It's your output divided by your input. Let's look at some real-world data from an IT firm in our sources to put this into perspective. We're comparing the input of man-hours to the output of business achieved. Check out quarter 3. They put in about 1.3 million man-hours and achieved 1.3 million in business. That gives them a stellar productivity score of 0.986. But then look at quarter 4. Man-hours spiked massively to 1.8 million, but the business achieved actually dropped. Their productivity score fell off a cliff to 0.666. This is exactly the kind of granular data analysis managers use every day to keep the engine tuned.
Section 5. Keeping machines running. The economics of maintenance.
All right. To keep those productivity numbers looking good, your physical machines literally have to keep running. And there are generally two schools of thought on how to handle this. The first is breakdown maintenance. This means you run the machinery until it flat out breaks. It sounds a little crazy, but some places do it to avoid scheduling downtime. The problem is, it carries massive risk and causes huge, unexpected halts in production. The second way, which is what you'll find in a professional modern corporate atmosphere, is preventative maintenance. This is all about scheduled checkups, lubrication, and overhauls to catch problems before they happen. It protects huge capital investments, keeps logistics flowing, and for sure guarantees worker safety.
And maintaining that kind of smooth operation takes a village. The chief plant engineer oversees a wildly complex network that goes way beyond just mechanics tightening bolts. You've got specialized teams handling the storage of spare parts, safety engineering, and diverse workshops doing everything from electrical repairs to custom fabricating new parts. It is a massive, highly coordinated logistical effort happening just beneath the surface every single day.
Section 6. Strategy and Teamwork. The Human Element.
Let's step off the factory floor for a second and head up into the executive boardroom. The absolute most crucial point to remember here is that human beings are the ones actually operating all these incredible tools we've talked about. Modern strategy relies heavily on the human element, like self-managing teams, where workers are empowered to coordinate their own activities and schedules. When you tie performance pay to those group outcomes, you create this incredible, motivational business culture where individuals are financially driven to cooperate and succeed together.
And today, that strategy is going totally digital. We're moving way beyond just physical machines. Modern operations integrate cognitive tools, the Internet of Things, and big data analytics. Imagine millions of data points pulling from your factory floor all the way to your end customers, seamlessly processed by algorithms to optimize the entire chain. This digital strategy ensures that from the raw material loading dock straight to the customer's hands, the whole business operates as one flawless, interconnected engine.
So, we've walked the factory floor, we've checked the charts, and we've analyzed the digital strategies driving the modern boardroom. We have literally looked under the hood to see how the engine of business works. Now, the big question is, how will you apply these operational strategies to optimize your own workflow, empower your teams, and ultimately drive your own competitive advantage? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep optimizing out there, and we'll see you next time.